Hey sweet soul, welcome back to Conscious Lifestyle Coaching. My name is Raileigh. I'm an author, poet, speaker, and healer. Today's message is talking about self-hate and how that translates in the work that people who want to intentionally and consciously and mindfully lead businesses and communities and spaces for people from all over, from any type of background. I'm speaking to people who want to share resources that they have, or they have at least the intention in their heart to do good and to help people in the ways that they know how and with what they have. And I'm speaking from someone who has always been very passionate about social healing and social development. That was my major studies at Florida State University, coming from a woman who was experiencing difficulties growing up from families who immigrated to the United States, to the mainland at least, from Puerto Rico and Vietnam, and experiencing a lot of family problems, right? Made me interested and passionate about what makes people feel loved and supported and resilient and successful in life, and that fueled me to who I am today with Conscious Lifestyle Coaching, of course. And I want to talk about my experience in the spaces where people have tried to help me along my journey. And first I want to say I'm super grateful for anyone who takes it upon their life to lead nonprofits, to lead community systems that support people who don't have anything, right? No money, no jobs, just kind of trying to figure themselves out. And I understand people who have compassion for people who are in transition, truly, people who they've come from nothing and it takes a long time to figure out what it is we're supposed to be doing with our lives, and that it takes time to heal and to recognize that we are important. If the life that we've known has always been so hard, and then we have the opposite spectrum of people who grew up in this life having everything that they needed, feeling supported, or perhaps they even felt a different kind of isolation of having the money and the physical things and the resources and the houses and the health, yet still feeling isolated in that they wanted a deeper connection they couldn't access. And so it is usually those people who have the compassion to help people who are just simply being misunderstood. People don't know how to approach them or interact with people who are in deep suffering or struggling in life. But there are very special people out here who know how to connect somehow. They are highly empathetic, they are highly conscious, they're very mindful to their role and responsibilities in society to connect with and be aware of that we are all spiritual family. And so someone else is suffering, even if it's just our neighbor and we don't know them, is still our suffering in a way. And so we have to look at our own decisions and how we lead our lives to make sure that we are not consuming and keeping and preserving all the resources to ourselves, that we're sharing resources and wanting to see each and every one of our neighbors, our friends, our community members, our family survive and be successful in this life. And of course, again, I studied the study of resilience in people, and we know that some people choose different pathways. Maybe we can't relate to it, maybe we don't understand, but we can't judge. And so I want to speak on this and the perceptions behind people who want to lead communities sustainably or direct spaces, run businesses that are focused on healing, sustainability, equity, right? Wanting to help people who are different from you. But if it comes from even the slightest place of low self-esteem, of self-hatred, of feeling isolated and perhaps angry at our environment for not seeing the world as we see it, if there is even just an inkling of that, it translates into the business, into the service you're offering to the people, the vulnerable people you're trying to help. And I want you to understand that no one is exempt from that, right? No one is perfect. And so when you start a business, lead a nonprofit, an organization, open your resources, your home to people who need help. And it's not met with the ideal in your mind that this person would magically heal and magically transform and live life the way you're trying to teach them. When they don't do that, and they leave what you've offered in not agreeable circumstances. Maybe you shared so much love and good intention, but the people still left angry at you, disappointed in you. And it's because it is a reflection of your relationship within and your relationship with God that you are teaching and funneling other people through. And the whole point of leading any conscious system or business organization is not about saving people. It's not about fixing people. It's not about changing people into the ideal that you perceive as truth. And so often when someone has created a space or a business, the ego comes in and these leaders put themselves on these pedestal that they can't get down from. And the moment they do, all hell seems to break loose because you have not allowed people to see your flaws or your own vulnerabilities. And therefore, when you come out of that closet, it's too shocking. People don't know how to talk to you or relate to you or help you because you haven't allowed yourself to receive that help for so long. You've built a community of vulnerable people around you, and you've held yourself to a higher standard without walking with people. And so, inevitably, you succumb to the stress and the pressure of leading and guiding so many people who, with or without conscious thought, you think you're better than. We cannot approach any initiation, any type of engagement with human beings coming from a place of savior consciousness. That is just another block away from slave master consciousness. We cannot look to people as if they are victims or disempowered without perceiving the ways that we are also victims and disempowered, perhaps in different dimensions, in different ways. And so people see right through that. And the people you're trying to help turn on you because they see that you are living a lie, you are masking. You're not being who you really are, and it comes off as this dissonance. Something is wrong here. I can't trust this energy. And that type of masking, that type of inauthenticity, living a life in an illusion that you cannot sustain, it will crumble eventually. When your human needs to rest from the ideals you've put yourself in to contain yourself in, out of self-preservation, out of self-protection. When you live like that too long, you recognize it's rooted in awareness you haven't quite looked at yet of a type of self-hate. Because if it was truly self-love that was motivating you to live lies or to come and approach any type of people from a disempowered savior victim mindset, there's self-hate there. There's something within you that you're recognizing the mirror and the reflection of other people that you don't like. You want to fix it. You want to save it. You are in need of healing and help. So in the situations in which people have held space for me, in my poverty, in my homelessness, in my physical breaking, in my mental health disorders, in the moment someone like that has helped someone like me or like you however you're resonating right now. When the healing happens and someone tries to give back to you from their intelligence, their gifts, because everybody is gifted and no one is a victim in the eyes of God. And so when the tables turn, not as someone who's trying to lead expects, they're triggered. Because the identity you have put so many people in, have generalized them to be, when they're healed and empowered, and they speak to you from a more healed place than from when you met them, it triggers you. It knocks you off your feet because you weren't ready, you weren't prepared to be seen for who you really are. Someone who is also in need of healing, also feeling weak in some areas, also in pain. And it's hard to look at. So we have to be careful when we're running companies and organizations and spaces for too long and have not held accountability for self-healing, not having received the same space that we are holding. That is a dangerous zone. That's when we lead to narcissism and cults. That's when what was once an initiative to be helpful to the world and to people becomes a paradigm, a consciousness that other people cannot influence, cannot be a part of, cannot relate to, cannot find belonging in. Because you have become too comfortable with things as they are for too long. You have not sat down and been a student of healing yourself, of leadership yourself. So we need to be more conscious of that, especially if whoever's listening to this is in the fields of social development, spirituality, healing, community, sustainability, DEI, food equity, any type of justice in any way, anything that is relating to the safety and the growth of human development. So I hope this message helps someone who's been leading for a long time to sit down and rest and receive and to listen. Because if you want to go back to the root of why we start programs and initiatives and too good to do actions, you have to return to the root of why it began. Not coming from a place, again, of wanting to save anyone, but relating to people's struggles. So when you have been elevated too high for too long, you can no longer relate to the root of why you started what you're doing in the first place. God will remind you, will remind us, not to forget who we really are. But when we lose relatability and self-authenticity, we're living in a manipulative energy. That again, people can feel that even if you're not conscious of it, or they're not conscious of it, it is felt. And so disruption occurs, stress occurs, things are not flowing as they used to be, they're not sustainable anymore, there's no more growth economically, clients are not happy anymore, because no single human being on this earth is exempt from needing to self-develop and heal and grow and change. evolve, mature our consciousness, to pray and build a relationship with God, the divine. However you define higher love that is guiding your soul is the caregiver of your soul. So I hope this helps somebody who again is passionate about helping people. And you want to help people more. That is still the core and root of who you are, is a servant, a people person, a caregiver of so many people. But it becomes dangerous to other people and yourself when you do not receive the same medicines you're gifting and have been gifting for a long time. As someone who's received so much help, so many scholarships, available rooms, and free meals, from so many good-hearted, kind people, people like me want you to understand that while the intentions are good and we're grateful, it also brings up a disruption within ourselves, having to take a look at all the ways we've been without what you've given us for a very long time. And then we look at the ways and the knowing that we now have to rebuild our lives in a way that might not be obtainable to what you've received. And the dangerous zone is when someone like me, the past me, receives that kind of gift and then feels like we're dependent on you for the rest of our life, or that there's not a chance we'll ever have that kind of comfort and grace and safety ever again unless we stay where we are. And so someone like me who comes in that space feels empowered at first and then leaves even more disempowered. Unless, and here is the key here, right? We have strategy that those people who help people in very disempowered places have a strategy of growth beyond you, the current caregiver, the current deliverance of safety and provisions. Unless there's a plan already in place, as soon as that person comes into your life, you're going to fail them. You're going to fail them. You cannot bring human lives into your reality without a strategy of how you're going to help them grow without you, right? That is the essence of good parenthood. So do not try to copy or imitate people who are leading successful organizations just because you have a good and kind heart. Figure it out because you're being led with good intention, you're mindful, you're conscious, you're in prayer. Strategies need to be clear and thought out and exercised. There needs to be tests that have been done many, many times to know that the strategy you're gifting people that is about to be executed in the lives of people who are extremely vulnerable, you need to know as the giver of that strategy that it's going to work, or else you're putting lives in your hands. Then you become responsible. So it takes time. If you want to build a business that truly serves people, truly brings peace and unity and love and transformation in the lives of other people, it's going to take a long time. You cannot grow this overnight. So you have to be patient, or else you're using the vulnerabilities of people and exploiting it for your gain, coming from that savior consciousness, that religious consciousness. So we're shifting unity consciousness, recognizing we're all equal in the eyes of God, truly. If you truly believe that, if you truly know that, then you're someone who's able to sit down and be patient. Listen to God. To sit with an idea, a vision for many, 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 many years. You recognize purpose on your life. It's going to be a lifelong journey until the day you die. You're never going to have all the answers. Soul journey, soul purpose is not about winning anything, becoming successful, or making a certain amount of money, or even helping a certain amount of people. It's about being humble enough to learn about yourself in that process and recognize that you are not different than the people you're serving. You are not. The timeline might be different. You are not different. The essence of your soul is in the essence of any single person you serve that is truly aligned, that God wants us to serve. So there's nothing to hide. There's no persona or identity to pretend to be. It is truth. It is seen. It is felt. And again, the clarity, the knowing of that truth will come in the peace and not the stress of the business, the company, the nonprofit, the organization, the spaces you are leading. So I hope this helps. Again, not to shame, just to hold us all accountable, doing this work in a way that is not just with good intentions and kindness, but carries divine strategy that we are not exempt from practicing ourselves. Soul work, healing work, community work is not performative. It is real. So if you want to do this work and publicly speak on it like I am, you're going to have to get used to being vulnerable and seen. No more hiding. So I hope this helps you also support people who are doing this work. Whether you are related to them, a friend of theirs, they're putting themselves out there to be vulnerable, and they know, they're often extremely aware in the ways that they are imperfect, and they're saying, I'm still going to be out here with the intention to help and to serve, knowing I'm a flawed individual. So if someone's doing that work, do not judge them. Speak with them, build a relationship with them. Hear their stories, because it is in their stories that you realize the strategies they're sharing, the tools they're teaching. Thank you again so much for listening. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Life Purpose Actualization is a 3-month program. I have 5 more seats left for the 3-month program, and then I'm opening for a 6-month program. So if that's you, now is the time. Do not wait for the perfect opportunity to receive help. If you know it's you, if you're hearing that call, start taking the steps, start walking it out, and we'll see where it goes. Again, if you're reaching out to me, the power is always in your hands. I'm never going to pressure you or convince you that you need my help. I'm just praying that you receive help, and I'm being clear about the ways I'm offering it. The Medicine Garden is a free group coaching call, 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays. So I'm in that space to learn from you and to hold space for you all to get to know each other, to learn from each other, and to share messages from your soul. Please RSVP by email, Raileigh@consciouslifestylecoaching.com. You can always find my contact at my website, consciouslifestylecoaching.com. Always check the description box below. The book Phoenix Medicines, Transformative Journey Through Consciousness is available. The next sacred Reminders Ascension Seminar is December 15th, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The theme for next month will be a healthier kind of fun. So continuing to hold us accountable to our joy and to our disciplines on the spiritual self-development and healing path. So again, my name is Raileigh. I'm an author, poet, speaker, and healer. Thank you again so much for listening. I'll see you in the next video. Peace and love.